expects to be able to rearrange her schedule to come in future Wednesdays.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. So are we waiting a few minutes to see if Jill Marland is coming, or?
No, I don't think, I don't anticipate that she's coming.
Oh,
Not at all. No, based on subsequent email, and I'll explain when we get there.
Okay. Okay, it is 5:31 p.m.
So Joanne's calling us to order.
I'm calling you to order.
So
Linda, I don't have the agenda in front of me. If you would please lead off.
sure. So we just want to give our, what do I want to say? That, you know, we're all here. Janice Gray, Linda Scott, Susan Millinger, Joanne Bernhard, and Susan Gomberg. We're all present. And so the first order of business is the 10-14 meeting minutes. We didn't include the November 3rd minutes in the agenda because we didn't anticipate that Susan would have them done. So if it's okay, we'll put those in December.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
sorry, I didn't have time to read them. I just turned my computer back on.
Yeah, I haven't had I just glanced at them. Thank you, Susan, for getting them done.
They looked wonderfully thorough, Susan. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the November 14th minutes, do we have a motion?
oh, I've got the October ones there for some reason.
I mean, October 14th, sorry,
Is
that's
it
my
the
mistake, that's my
14th?
mistake.
Is it the 14th or the 13th?
It's this, well, let's see. I think it's the 13th. Let's check.
That's what it says
It
on.
is 13, I wrote down 14 for some reason, so yeah. it's
Okay, good.
13.
We don't need to correct the minutes then.
No, my mistake.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
I second. Joanne seconds.
Okay, roll call vote. If there's any further discussion.
Mhm. Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, aye. Okay, so we had the next topic says guest topic, senior tax work-off program. We're just, Joanne and I have had some conversations about this topic, and we had anticipated Jill Marland coming. She inquired about the COA advocating for a senior tax work-off program in Shutesbury. And because what we already have on our agenda tonight, it was suggested that she would come and do a brief, sharing of what she's concerned about, and then that we could have a wider discussion at a future meeting. She subsequently suggested that we would that she wouldn't come this evening, that we would use the time to introduce the topic, and that she potentially would come at a future meeting. So then she also asked us about a second program, which we don't have in town, which is an additional senior exemption from property tax. So
So there are two topics there. One is the work-off program, and one is the second senior tax exemption.
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
And as I understand it from Linda's research, in the hallowed halls of Town Hall, these things are actually under the control of the select board.
Or annual town meeting, it depends on.
And then beyond that, beyond the select board to annual town meeting, right?
Yeah. Yes, so yes, so the senior tax write-off program, work-off program, I should say, not write-off, work-off program is under the jurisdiction of the select board. They are the deciding body. The chapter 41, clause 41C and a half is a town meeting vote. So what Joanne and I thought we would do is, Joanne both of us have done some research. And so before the next meeting, we'll forward you some document, some information, so we can, talk more about it once you've had a chance to look over. I'll write up a little explanation and attach the documents, and Joanne has just briefly, one of the other concerns is that many of the towns that have the senior tax work-off program are, much, much larger. And, but Joanne found that the town of Irving, who has a similar population, has such a program. So she has those documents which she can share also. So we'll share the information, and then we can just talk about it and see if there's, anything we want to do as a council.
I
Mrs.
actually,
Gomberg, was Jill wanting the COA to kind of take the lead on trying to get both of those programs going?
That's was what she was asking us, is to take this on, and we have to decide whether or not it's something we want to take on. But in order to do that, it seems like we need to understand what trying to say, what the programs are.
Right.
So we can take our time and look into them and see.
I did ask, this is Joanne, I did ask Adam Frank at the MCOA, who's the person at the MCOA who is the liaison to the COAs all over Massachusetts. We have 351 towns. So 351 COAs. He sent me a list of 18 towns with the population of 3,000 and under. So small towns. And they were all supposed to have this tax work-off program. But I actually went town by town and looked, and only 4 of them did.
Wow.
It may have been a mistake with them thinking that what they were being asked was the senior tax, property tax exemption that every senior in Massachusetts can apply for. It's on our assessor's webpage down at the very, very bottom if you want to look at that. I think there may have been confusion when they asked the question, because out of 18 towns, 14 said they had it and they didn't. So, there must have been some misunderstanding there. The ones that did were Irving, very interestingly, because Irving has about the same population that we do. Williamsburg, Monterey, and one other one. I'm sorry, the list isn't here right now. But so if you want to, by the time we talk about this again, if you want to take a look at Irving, that's kind of the closest one to us in terms of, and it's on their website, so you can just take a peek and see what that looks like, because that's the closest one to us. The one that Jill Marland forwarded to Linda was Newburyport. And Newburyport, of course, has a much larger population. They actually have a senior center. They have paid staff. They have departments within their senior center where they can, place people. So that's a whole different thing. And one thing that I found really, really interesting about the Newburyport page was that they required applicants to be eligible for the senior circuit breaker program. So I looked at the senior circuit breaker program, which is pages and pages long, and you would need a tax accountant actually even to fill out the paperwork. I mean, I've done our own taxes for years, and I was looking at this going, I could never figure out how to do this. So it seems that each town can set the criteria for eligibility. So it's not one standard set of eligibility requirements.
Right. So maybe, yes, exactly. So there's a lot to take in. There is a lot to take in. Basically, as Joanne said, with the work-off program, excuse me, the select board adopts and the town can set their own regulations. The clause 41C and a half, again, that would be a town meeting decision, and that is that's we already have in our town. We already have chapter 41, clause 41C, I believe, is the one we already have one of them.
Yeah.
That's 41 and a half is expanded. So and there are income guidelines for that. So anyway, we'll continue. We'll send you information, and as Joanne said, check out Irving, because they're seeing their materials are very very good in explaining the work-off program. So we'll carry it over. Okay, Susan M.
Yes, I don't intend to take any details from this discussion, but I do need to get something clear, which is, what are the two programs you are talking about?
Susan,
I'm assuming, hang on a second. One is the work-off program, right? Where you do some work and you get your taxes reduced because of that. The other one is a reduction in your property taxes, which every senior is eligible for. Is that correct?
No. So this second one is clause 41C and a half.
Okay.
And that is a exemptions. That is an exemption to seniors who meet specific criteria.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry. I knew there were criteria.
Yeah.
Okay, so but we already have that. Is that
No.
what you're saying?
No.
41C?
No, we do not have, we have 40, there are several of them. But Jill Marland is asking specifically about clause 41C and a half, which we do not have.
which again would have to be adopted.
Right, by town meeting, yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that has to do with exemptions to property taxes for certain qualified seniors.
Yes, yes.
But it has a
Qualified?
slightly different framework from the one that is on the assessor's
Yeah.
website.
Right, so we don't want to go there right now, though, because, but yes, it's got different criteria. It's more. Yeah.
Mhm.
42C and a half is more, or 42 and a half
41
C,
C
whichever
and
it
a
is.
half.
41 and a half C and a half, okay, is a larger sum possible.
We'll send you the
Yeah,
links to the Massachusetts site.
Okay, I'm not looking for details, just the basic distinction to write to enter into the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, I think I have that now.
okay, good. Joanne, Janice, did you have something?
No, I'm just trying to figure out something kind of related to this, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just looking through
Okay,
my email, trying to find this question that I got. So, but don't worry about it.
okay. Okay,
This is
Joanne.
Schaumburg. I just wanted to ask, by qualified, you mean a certain income level qualification?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The requirements have to do with ownership, residency, income, and asset
thank
kinds
you.
of things. Yes,
Thanks.
yes. That's for the 41C and a half. And as Joanne said,
Here it is.
the work-off program, the town would set their own requirements. So they're different from town to town.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. It's a lot.
It
It is.
Yes. But it's all about lowering property taxes ultimately.
Right,
Right, right, for qualified people.
For qualified people.
and people who hope they're qualified people.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to say, one of the things that that is, these programs have, whether, these programs have, the decisions regarding these programs have wide implications. And so,
Mhm.
that's why it's not, we don't have any authority as a council.
Right.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean we could say that this seems like an idea worth pursuing.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So we'll do our research and learning and see how we feel.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So
Thank you.
you're
both.
welcome. The next topic is our financial update, which is so our current balance as of, let's see, Gail Weiss gave a current balance as of 11/5 in our grant of $1,516.61.
We have to spend that 61 cents.
And and the one expenditure this month was $120 for care. So that leaves a balance of $1,396.61. And that's all I have.
Okay. And we have agreed to give the fitness programs for Kathy Swart and for the Zumba class.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, but we
It will
won't,
come out of that amount, right?
right, we won't receive any invoices. We'll receive invoices from Marianne periodically at, like, yes, yeah, because she can only bill us for services rendered.
Okay. Yeah. So at this point, we don't know that the budget of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I think, has just gone through. And there certainly will not be an increase in the amount that cities and towns are getting, the COAs are getting. For the last several years, it's been $12 per elder. I don't know that we have we may have a census count for Shutesbury. It's going to be based on the 2020 census now. The former one was based on the 2010 census. I'm not aware of how many elders we now have according to the 2020 census. Probably Grace can give us that information at some point. But that doesn't really, it's not really going to affect the amount that we receive because we're in the smallest, the lowest category, and that has been $6,000. So I think we can assume that we're going to be receiving that amount.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thanks, Joanne.
And how are you doing with receiving are we doing okay with getting you our statistics?
I have from Linda and Janice and Susan Gomberg, and Susan Millinger is promising to get me her hours. With the online form of the annual report hasn't been released yet, although I think there's a beta version going out where they're asking people for feedback. So when it goes live, we'll find out, and then we can enter this data. So we're not even at the point yet of entering the data. Okay, so no panic.
Okay, good. Good. And, you'll let us know if you need anything else.
I will. I'm still waiting for Marianne to give us the numbers of all the fitness classes that we sponsored. I'm sure she's had a lot on her plate with the library project going on now. So, but we'll get there. And as I've said before, the annual report where all the data is going is not tied to the grant. The grant is a separate thing and is not dependent on this annual report.
Okay, thank you for that. It gets a little confusing at times, thinking that they're both related. Okay, everybody good on this? Okay, so the next topic is our foot clinic survey and next steps. Over to you, Susan Gomberg.
Okay. I had the list of the 16 people that previously I had been calling on they had participated in the foot clinic. All but one got back to me, even though I did 2 phone calls and sent an email. And basically I said we would use masks, we would do social distancing, the chair, the doorknobs, anything else would get wiped down, one foot clinic member at a time in the room with the nurse, etc., the things we had talked about before. So there was only one person who basically said no, she would never come back, but I asked her what would make her comfortable, and she won't be comfortable until the pandemic is completely gone. So, but she also realized, that wasn't going to happen. So of the others, there are 4 who no longer are getting services, who said they won't need it. They're aware that they can come back, but they would not think that they would be coming back. So that leaves 12. The one that didn't respond is floating around, who did say yes, they would come back to the foot clinic. So another one suggestion was it would be better with an ultraviolet air purifier for the room. So I said yes, but that probably isn't going to happen. But they would attend anyway. So there we are. Looking back at the new fee schedule, which was detailed in Susan's excellent March minutes, under the old plan, we considered a couple of things when the foot care by nurses proposed their new fee schedule. One thing was limiting the clients that we see. One thing was asking for more money. Currently, Sue is seeing 4 to 5. So just projecting that if we saw 6 people under the old plan, for example, it would be with 35. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. In the new plan, if we saw 6 people, which is less than we did before, they wanted $45 an hour, so 6 people would be $3, 3 hours at $45, and they want $20 per person. So that figures out to a $255 cost for 6 people, as far as I can figure out. The older plan was for a flat $35 per client, and that comes out less than, slightly less, but not a whole, slightly less than it was. So, what to do? People would come back. A couple of them kind of indicated, it's time to get back to normal, et cetera. If kids can go to school, we could do that. They'd like to go back to the town hall. There really were no reservations about returning with the precautions we use, and that they anticipate we would just keep on using in this society for a long time. So I don't know. We're kind of like, I'm ambivalent about getting this data. People would go back, but should we go back? It's going to cost more money to go back unless we ask for more money from the people. Some people I spoke with still thought that $30 was too much. Somebody did not make any home care appointments because $60 was too much. People seem to have lost the they could pay what they can idea. And I I don't know. I looked at what we had on the website in preparation for, one of the things you asked us to do. And it actually, it says there that we ask people to donate towards the cost or contribute to the cost. But, all along, I know I've been saying, and others before me, this is what we want, but we'll take what you give us. And over time, when the clinic was meeting, people sometimes just gave $10. So it just surprised me that some people, had these ideas that they couldn't come unless they paid $60. So I don't quite know how I feel about all this now that people say they would go back.
Thank you, Susan, very much for your thorough report.
Oh, you're welcome.
Janice
Thank
says thank you also.
Yes.
I have one technical question. If you could just say again, if there were 6 clients for an in-person clinic, could you say the cost again for me, please, that you figured out?
Sure.
And thank you for doing that.
Yep. The new money request from Foot Care is $45 an hour. So 3 hours at that would be $135.
Yep.
And then the second part is $20 per person that gets seen that day.
Okay, got it.
If-
Okay. So that's
I'm
120, right?
Yes. So I sort of remember something from Kate's original email to us that if we sign up, if we block out that time and somebody cancels or somebody doesn't show up, I'm guessing I sort of have a memory, they still would want $20 even though for each person, for 6 people, even though only 5 show up.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, but that kind of rings a bell in
Yeah,
my
I seem to
memory.
remember that also.
Yeah, so it would be a 3-hour clinic, $255 would be the cost.
Right, minus any contributions that folks
Correct.
might make.
Right. Right.
Is there an average of contributions?
When we were back in the town hall, I would say the average was probably $35, with every now and then somebody doing the $10 and somebody doing $35. But it was right around that amount.
Mhm.
Right, and for the at-home visits, the cost is $90 to us
Right.
per person, and folks make between $30 and $60 contributions.
Mhm. So if we go back to town hall with the former average of around $35 per person, does that work financially for us?
I just did this, I just put that 255 divided by 6. To make that, we'd have to get $42.50 from everybody, which probably wouldn't happen.
No, that's to cover the whole cost, but
That would cover what the nurses want us to pay.
Mhm.
Right,
But if we had an average of $35 per client, what, Linda?
but we wouldn't receive an average of 35 because 35 is what is the $35 was the fee. So people would pay, as Susan said, people would pay $10.
So
So,
I was just guessing that's if we went all over, it probably some weeks everyone would pay $30. Somebody might pay $35, or
Right.
some weeks everyone, 5 people would pay 30, one person would pay 10. But I think over
Okay.
time, most people, probably would come up to say $30, except for when some people pay less. And basically, they just put money in they put money in an envelope and drop it off, or a check, and I don't look at what they're giving me.
Mhm.
And so if that's the case, if we averaged it to $30 times 6 people, if all goes well, but as we know, it doesn't always work, for whatever
So we would-
reason, people, can't make their appointment. But if we did have 6 at
We'd be losing
$30,
at 30, we'd lose $75 each week.
right, our output would be $75.
Correct.
Susan Millinger?
Yes, I would like to know whether we expect this program to pay for itself, because that's the sort of, seems to be the assumption we're working under. Because
No,
if we don't think it has to pay for itself, then we can accept a certain loss each month, and we need to consider if there's a reasonable and an unreasonable loss.
right. I mean, this is Linda, and in the past, pre-pandemic, when we would make our sort of spending plan for the year, we would always allocate a certain sum for foot care, because we always anticipated there would be people who, may not be able to make a donation for whatever reason. Whatever, we wanted it to be a program where people could come and receive care and not have to worry at all about paying or donating.
And what's different about it now is the fees from foot care by nurses on the hourly rates, which is new now, and so that kind of puts, I guess, thinking more about money as
Right.
opposed to just letting people roll in and pay what they want.
Right.
But that's a good question, Susan. I don't know.
No, this is Joanne. I don't think we're thinking that the program would be self-supporting.
No,
It's just a kind of a matter of figuring out the margins, of how much COA would normally be spending on a monthly basis when people are back in the town hall.
One of the people I spoke with had been at the Board of Health meeting and did say that she's sure the Board of Health would be fine with us meeting in town hall, as they did before.
So Susan Gomberg, what would be your preference in terms of, would you like to reopen again in town hall or not?
I have to say I'm ambivalent about it. I certainly would be willing to. I live close by, and it's no big deal to go there, and people want to come. But for some reason, I don't have this feeling like, yes, let's do it. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's so easy for the nurse to come, to my house or to other people's house. It's easier having her do a home visit. Even though, as I just said, going to the town hall is really not a big deal. I'm ambivalent.
thank you, Susan, for saying that. I mean, I'm also involved in this decision too. I mean, we all are, but in the past, pre-pandemic, I would be responsible for arriving and opening up the building. And if I couldn't be there for some reason, we had Susie Mosier who was in early and would open. But that's all changed. I'm rarely at town hall now, and when I go in just for a short period of time. So there's that piece. There's just that piece, that pre-pandemic, I was just automatically there. And I would just arrange to come in much earlier, but that was okay. And I was there, and could, then Susan would bring, would give me the money and we'd process the payment. So anyway, that's just, I'd help get the room set up, all of that kind of thing. So.
This is Janice speaking. So are you saying, Linda, that you're also ambivalent?
Yes, I am. I mean,
Okay, I'm just trying to line up the little check marks.
Yes,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
yeah, I am. I'm, before, it was just standard operating procedure. And the other piece of it was when we still had David had a key. He was familiar with the building. He could open it up,
Mhm.
turn off the alarms, do whatever needed to be done. And then when Susan graciously took over, I stepped up my game and, did the other part that David was doing. So,
Linda, do you have any sense? I'm thinking about, you and I are saying ambivalent, and I am saying that. Is there any sense of when there would be, I guess, a formal announcement saying the town hall is open to the public?
well, it is open. It does
But it's
say
not
that,
that.
it does say it on the town clerk's web, or on the
Oh, it does.
homepage.
Okay.
Yeah, it does say.
Okay.
And I think the other piece is that, there's the technology is just getting in place to begin holding hybrid meetings. So, that there's been a couple of experimental hybrid meetings. I've not been part of them. It was another committee, but we now have a smart TV downstairs, and the additional piece that's needed for that goes on the table, that it's called an owl, and it rotates to focus on the person speaking in the room, so that they're on the camera and their audio is heard, for people who are watching, who are participating remotely. And then there's this huge screen so that the people in the room can see all the participants, remote participants. So that's coming. And I guess that's by way of saying that, there's still not that much going on in person in town hall. Staff and people come in to pay their taxes, or see the police, or see the, town clerk for things.
Mhm. But you're still working remotely.
I am. I'm the only person that really is remote.
Mhm.
I think the land use clerk work, Penny Jakes, who's this temporary land use clerk, is doing some remote work as well, but I am.
Right. And so that room, the senior center room, we don't know what shape that's in at all.
It's in pretty good shape. I'll take another look when I go next week. But it's, last time I was down there, all the materials that are still being, that are there for, hygiene purposes are, they're all, neatly on a table or stacked on the floor. So there is some free space there for which, the clinic could be held. Yeah, so there it is.
This is Janice with a question, just a little bit more on that. So if it's one person at a time, where would the others wait? In their cars?
That's what they would have to do,
Okay,
unless we put a chair in the hallway.
Yeah, so there's other things that I'm sure you guys have thought about, but I'm thinking about them now too. So playing catch up, like what else is involved? So
I had thought wait in cars, which of course
Yeah.
we're heading into winter,
right.
and who wants to sit out in a cold car or a car? But I guess it just doesn't seem like this is the best time to reopen at town hall.
I guess, I'm kind of hearing that in your voice, Susan, and I'm having a similar
Yeah.
feeling, only because we're heading, gratefully we had a beautiful day today, but we know that, winter is coming, and that also impacts attendance and
Right.
That was driving my
Access.
question too.
access to the building. And because that was the other
Right.
thing, getting there early to make sure the door is accessible and all like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
um,
Yeah. And then, as you said, turning off the alarms and et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wonder if we punt on this, continue as we are, wait a while, uncertain length of time, when the building is just more generally open, and then possibly start the clinic at a later time, like 9, and a 3-hour thing would bring us up to 12, which is when it used to end. When we used to start earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. That and not just another thought, Susan, you did mention that there was one person, well, I don't know if was just one, but there was someone who didn't have a home visit because they were concerned about the cost.
Right. They did go to the office in Greenfield,
Okay.
and they paid $30. And they said the person at the office was kind of surprised, but this person said, nope, I can pay $30. But they apparently thought they had to pay more than that for a home visit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She and I talked about that. So
So
hopefully she will make a home visit
okay.
appointment.
Okay, great. Thank you, because that was one piece I was concerned about.
Right. And just of interest, 2 people that I was concerned about from, I'm in the room, I'm not paying attention, but I can't help but listen to Sue take care of people's feet, and 2 people who I just just didn't know. They've gotten their feet taken care of somewhere else or in some other process.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, good.
that's good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it is good. Made
Okay,
me feel good.
yeah, because that was one of our concerns. It was what were some of the people who needed care, were they getting it?
Correct.
so-
We didn't know because they weren't going through foot care by nurses, but they have done something else.
Okay, thank you for that. That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Because that was, one of the things is
Right.
there unmet need out there? And okay, good. I feel better about that for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So what's what are other folks' sense about this?
Well, Janice will jump in if no one else wants to yet. So I'm thinking about a couple of things about people sitting in their cars in winter. The cars are idling. We have an idling law. I think we should wait until spring for lots of reasons that have already been mentioned. But part of it is the whole, there's no warm place to wait right now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's there's the entry hallway, but that's kind of dark and funky, and the other
And cold.
the other two rooms do have this brand new ventilation system. So the room where our senior lounge and the big room have this brand new thing. So that's a plus. But anyway, yes, the waiting. Yes. Okay. And so anything else, Janice?
No, I wasn't clear on the ventilation situation. And you had talked about the chair in the hall, but if the big room, that would not be available to wait in?
I'm
just kind of.
yeah, I mean, I guess that could be a possibility. Again, I just have to check, that
Okay.
be a logistical.
Maybe that was
question.
already being used for something else.
Yeah,
it
no,
couldn't be.
I mean, like I said, there's not, other than what I explained, there's really not all that.
Right. That's why I was wondering what was going on there. So
Downtown Hall is very quiet compared to how it used to be.
yeah. And having waited for yoga classes in that hallway, it's cold. Even if
Yes.
that's the chair,
Yeah,
it's not a warm place either.
no, that would not be a good place to wait.
So anyway, I'm just
Okay.
trying on different scenarios in my brain. Thank you for
Thank you.
bearing with me on that.
Joanne, Susan, M.
This is Joanne. So are we arriving at a decision that we would like to keep going as we have been now and wait until later in perhaps spring to consider going back into town hall?
Sure sounds that way to me.
And is that your,
Is this where we're all at now?
it feels like that's where we're at.
Okay.
Unless anyone has any strong feeling the other way.
I have concerns about the people who aren't seeing Sue. Who would be willing to come to town hall, but I personally am ambivalent about going back as a client, and I certainly respect everybody else's decisions about this.
You're talking about some who don't want the visiting nurse in their house,
Yes,
but would go to the town hall.
yes,
Yeah,
I'm concerned about them.
right.
And how many people are in that category? Do you know?
I don't know exactly because I didn't. I phrased the question of, I started out with saying, we have no plans to go back to the town hall now, but if we did, this is how we would. These are the precautions we would use. Would you feel comfortable going back to the town hall?
Right,
And then,
okay,
then we had a discussion on that.
okay. So we had 16 prior folks, 4 no longer need it.
Right.
That leaves 12 plus minus the one person who really doesn't want to come back to town hall.
And one who did not reply at all.
Okay,
So
so
that's
that
10
leaves 10.
people.
That leaves 10.
Right.
That
Yeah.
leaves 10 people.
I'm going to be seeing, maybe to make our consciences better, I see Sue next week, and I'll try to get the names of who she sees on the alternating monthly thing, just to see who might be getting left out.
Okay,
And then possibly I could reach out to them in some manner. One person I thought was getting left out because she would not want to go to the town hall is having her feet happily taken care of someplace else.
okay, right.
So,
Oh, right. So out of those 16 people, right, okay, right, got it. So
Yeah.
we have people who are getting, so basically, it doesn't sound like there's anybody that of our prior folks who is not getting their needs met.
only the one who won't go back because of, well, she didn't say she was getting we didn't have a conversation of was she having her feet taken care of now. And then
Okay.
there was the other one who had the one appointment at the office
Yeah.
and somehow didn't understand about a home appointment.
Okay,
But I talked her through it, and she was going to make it Monday and then get back to me if it didn't happen, and I haven't heard from her again. So
okay,
I think she probably got her feet an appointment made, but I'll
Okay.
check with Susan.
okay, so,
I'll try to find out from Susan who it is that isn't getting looked at, because it's down to 10 people now,
which,
and I'm one of them. So
which
that's
according,
9
right,
people.
according to our list, we've got, yeah. So if I can tell you, I can't tell you now, but I have the statements from Foot Care by Nurses, so I should be able to tell you who they are.
Oh, if you have the initials of people.
I have
yeah.
initials, yes.
Yeah,
So
sure. Yeah,
I can
that'd be
do
great.
that, because she
Okay.
maybe can't disclose other clients to you.
True. Right.
But
Right. Okay, that'd be great.
We can do that.
Okay.
So,
And I can talk about it at our next meeting.
okay,
See
that
if there's
sounds,
somebody who is not getting looked at.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Really.
sure.
Hi, this is Joanne. I just have a sidebar question. People can go to Greenfield to the office and set up an appointment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to let people know that?
It's something way back when we went to home visits, and I called people to let them know, or I sent out an email. I think it was in conversation. I did talk about the office,
Mhm.
but I certainly can do that again.
What is the charge for going to the office?
Well, if they're a Shutesbury, I guess that's a good question, because the one who did go there just paid $30 because that's what she would have paid if she came to the town hall.
And then was subsidized by Shutesbury.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yeah. And also we're anticipating that there'll be two new home visit clients as well, based on a inquiry that we received by phone.
Okay.
Oh, just recently? So
Just
that's probably one
recently.
of the, oh,
Yeah.
good. So that's possibly one of the ones that I was speaking about. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, you and I will connect.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on? Next, next topic, another big one is our surveys. The age-friendly needs assessment survey and our survey.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I can start if you'd like me to.
please.
Because what I did is I did compare our survey with theirs, with Life Paths. And there actually were a couple of things that our survey had that theirs did not, or at least did not overtly have. So I could run those out and we could say, well, it's not worth it or whatever. If you'd like. I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at the Life Path survey. When we were talking with Newer, a lot of people hadn't.
This is Joanne.
received it.
I did take a look at it today. It was very thorough as far as I could see. It's also incredibly long.
Yes.
And then I compared it side by side with ours. And it has many of the same questions, but our survey was very specific about what Shutesbury residents, the services already being received, the services needed, and Noor's kind of took off in a different direction, more about how communities are poised to serve the needs of seniors. And ours was more direct, looking at what do you need from,
Right.
what do you need from your community? So, yeah. I don't think we can do both. I don't know how do we know how they're going to send this survey out? Do we know how it's going to happen?
Let's hear from Janice too about
Okay.
what she observed. Let's talk about, that piece first, and then we'll go into the next steps, if that's okay with you, Joanne.
So Noor had sort of asked us to add our suggestions if we had any. And I'm not saying that these necessarily need to be suggestions. These are just possible suggestions. One of the things that we asked under demographics is how many people live in your household, including yourself. I did not see that in their survey, and maybe it's not relevant to them, but I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then another one is under, and this is what Joanne was getting at, under our question 9, what unmet needs do you have? There were 2 things that we listed that I did not see on this side in the Life Path one, except maybe under their question 16. And I don't actually have a printout of that right now. I have to pull it up on the screen again. And one of the things that we were asking about unmet needs was meal preparation. They did talk about nutrition programs, which I don't know if that meant nutrition education or if it meant help. And the other thing that we asked about was whether you need help with technology, and I didn't see that in there. And then we specifically asked do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? And they didn't talk explicitly about altering your home. So those were a couple of things. LifePath did talk in under question 26, sort of in general about, do you have, for example, instead of technology, you need help with technology, which sounds like, you know, do you want someone to come and help you set up your email program, which I've been struggling with myself with a new program. They talk about, do you have access to the internet and computers at, for example, a library? So that's as close as they got to that.
Right. And that was a community related question. rather
Right.
than personal, which I found this, you know, a little bit challenging on some of the
And
questions.
so that was it. Basically, a lot of the stuff they asked, we had asked. And then there were a lot more things too. So that's just what I came away with.
Right.
So I have, since I just skimmed the survey, I have a little question here because I'm remembering that Nor pointed out that LifePath is known for its direct service, and this is not a direct service
Right.
program. And so I'm wondering whether the things you're talking about might be considered direct services, and these are the kinds of things Village Neighbors is very happy to do,
Right.
but perhaps not the kinds of things that this program would be interested in doing.
You might be right. This is Janice speaking.
But that doesn't mean that we can't, you know, are you all thinking about submitting questions or things that you would like to see added or going to the meeting and doing that?
I wasn't this is Janice. I wasn't planning on going to the meeting. I was just trying to compare the two. That's all I was doing. So there's not much, and you may have a very good point. That's why they don't ask, do you need help with meal preparation? Because their program isn't going to do that.
Well, no, but it is
But they're still trying to assess needs, though.
it is a needs assessment survey. So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, but it's talking about needs. This is Susan. It's talking about needs on the level of senior housing and transportation, which is a different kind of need from going into your home and providing technology help. I
Or
don't
Meals
know.
on Wheels. So.
Testing. Yeah. Yes, definitely. I'm sorry to be difficult about this, though, and I think that these are legitimate questions to ask the survey makers.
And in fact, this on their survey, they do have a section. I made a note of that. It was because I thought it was an interesting one. Where to go? They were asking about, you know, do you have, is it available in your community someone or services to help with like weather related stuff like snow shoveling or other things? Like now I don't even see where it was. I made a little note.
Okay, so that's
Anyway, now I can't find it. But so there was a little of that in that section that would cover the kind of more personal direct services that they aren't saying we're going to provide, but are they available in your community?
right. That's really what they're asking is, yes, where people need help. And just briefly, one of my takeaways was that I felt like the survey, the age-friendly survey was oriented just a bit towards more residential, suburban,
Urban, yeah,
urban community than rural.
right.
I thought I was a couple of things I marked on this on the age-friendly survey as really good. One of these was, and that overlaps with ours. It was number 7. Which of these factors would make you consider leaving your current residence or community? And that is a question that we ask in a different format, but this had a list of a checklist of things. And I thought that was well framed. There was another one that we didn't have, which I thought was good, which is are you a caregiver for an older person?
I thought we had it in there somewhere.
Not in ours.
I thought we asked something about that.
I thought we
Okay.
did have something about that.
Yeah, huh. Where'd it go?
We didn't. Um,
But again, this is you know, dealing a lot with with dementia friendly community things. And I don't think we really touched on that in our survey. Ours was much more specific to Shutesbury, you know, to the area around us, in terms of which of these services do you use, you know, are the services that are readily available to us. So I mean, I think that the age-friendly survey is very good. You know, it takes a broader view. I don't know how we mesh it with what we were trying to find out with ours.
Susan?
Well, this is Millinger here. You know, we are specifically thinking about heading towards senior housing in our survey. That was our end goal, to consider that possibility. And that seems to me that it would be in the age and dementia friendly program, it would be a later stage. Once we'd identified that senior housing was something we wanted to look into specifically through something like this, then we would go to probably then I would imagine they would go to a more focused survey about that to get more information about what kind of living circumstances people needed and had.
Mhm. Right, which was what our instructions were, was to do a general survey and then a more specific survey.
Right.
So I guess really the question is, do we want to, you know, we can provide individual feedback to Noor. Any one of us could attend the session. I believe it's next week, the virtual session
The
to,
18th, yeah.
yeah, to give
Thursday
feedback.
from 1 to 2.
Yeah. Is anyone planning on going to that?
This is Millinger. No, I'm not, because I'm not going to be in town.
Okay.
And I think I may be on the road, which would make it tricky to join a Zoom.
I think I can do it.
Would you like to?
I can maybe not say anything, but listen. I'm just a little confused because we had our survey that we were working on. And now we have this survey, which is going out to a number of towns in the area. Is that the plan?
Yes, this
Yeah.
is for all the towns that participate.
Right.
And you
Yes.
do
Okay.
check where you're writing from, and then that information will get weeded out and sent to us,
Mhm.
I think.
Yes, Nora did say that it could be per town can be taken out, you know, the data. So we
Okay.
can have data specific, our specific data.
So if we get the data from this survey for Shutesbury, we still haven't answered some of the questions that are on our survey. And this is where I'm wondering what's you know, how does this work together so that we don't, I mean, we can't survey people to death.
Right.
And this survey is really long. You know, although it's
Which is a
easy to do,
problem.
which
Is a problem.
yeah.
Good
And-
surveys.
And let me ask again, how are they planning, or do we know how they're planning to distribute this survey?
So when we met with Nora last week, one of our assignments, in addition to providing any feedback we may have about the survey, is to consider distribution and collection in our community.
Okay.
Yep, so that's going to be individual communities doing the sending out and return. As far as I understood from Nora, because I made made notes that we need to, you know, consider postage costs and This is,
And he said something about helping with postage costs.
this will not cost, this will be, this is more than an ounce.
Mhm.
Because I printed it on 2 sides and it's 5, 6, 7,
Oh, you printed his survey.
8 pages long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely more than an ounce. And obviously it's designed to fill in online.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we could do something. I'm thinking that once the survey is final, because it's not final yet, once it's ready, we could send out a town announce with a link to the survey
Mhm.
and also a if someone wanted a mailed one, that we would mail, we could mail it to them. That's a thought. I mean, it's not going to reach everybody that, what do I want to say? Everybody, because some people aren't on town announce.
Mhm.
The other possibility is that, depending on when this is ready, we'll have a winter newsletter, and we can also put something in the winter newsletter, because that goes to everybody. Some sort of really bold something, Janice, that says about the survey. And if you want a copy mailed to you, we could, call us, or
Right.
yeah.
The other thing is, we don't have to make it 8 pages long. I mean, they have a lot of white space in there. I mean,
Mhm.
it could be shrunk
Yeah.
and still be readable.
Right.
Yeah. And again,
I'm sorry, excuse me, there's someone at the door, just a minute.
okay. It's a draft, so
And I sure hope it gets reduced in size. This is Millinger. It's really much too big for a survey.
well, I remember, I think it was Susan Gomberg that made the result that the only thing it didn't ask was her shoe size.
Yeah.
I was just going to chip in that I didn't think it. I mean, it was long, but it wasn't a terrible thing to fill out. I thought it was very easy to zip through it.
Mm,
So I
Good.
wasn't put off by the length of it at all.
Good.
Good, okay.
No shoe sizes.
So we'll wait for Joanne to come back.
Okay, this is Millinger. I am very aware that the time is fleeting. We have
Yes.
20 minutes left, and I have another meeting at 7 o'clock, so I really would appreciate us not
Whoa.
running over.
Okay, well, all right, that's helpful to know. So as soon, well, okay, so Joanna's gonna listen in on the survey next week. She said she'd listen in, so we'll learn more then for our next meeting. And Janice, are you gonna send some of your thoughts to Norm?
I could. I mean, I did not sit down and make up an email to him yet about some copy editing type stuff. For example, he makes a mistake, or somebody there says every day, one word, when it should be every day. I see that all the time, because I figured he is in Morocco. I'm not going to bombard him with an email with
Right. Yes,
Stuff
no,
like
he did seem eager to receive your edit.
Yeah, so if you'd like, I can make my little picky copy editing things, like is telehealth, he capitalizes telehealth in some places and in others he doesn't. I need to go see if that is a trademark. just be consistent. That this is the kind of stuff that drives people crazy, but it's what I do. And I could throw in my other thoughts about whatever it was that I outlined as you know, you didn't ask about, are there other people living, how many people live in your household, that kind of thing, the little place things that they did not ask that we do.
Okay, that will be
So I
fabulous.
can just do the whole ball of wax there, and then at least he has it and he can ignore it if he wants.
Thank you. That'll be great. Joanne, while you stepped away, Susan Millinger let us know that she has another commitment at 7. So
Okay.
she asked if we could move right along. So
right.
my sense, and help me if we're not there, is that we will we have more to think about, and we'll get more information. We'll have more information for our next meeting as to where the draft survey is at.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we'll be, and then we can think more about our distribution at that time. And so our next item is website review.
And that can wait again. This is Janice speaking if you want. I don't
I
know.
thought, this is Millinger. I think it really looks good, Janice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I do
I
too. I
agree.
looked at it on my phone, so the formatting was
Oh.
probably not what it looks like on the web page, on the computer page.
I can give a little bit of an update in that at the bottom there is a section that's been there all along, probably from the original version of it, that says information and resources, where at one point we had Life Path, we still have Village Neighbors, and now it says something about under construction. Those are little blocks that you have very little room in. If you exceed the length, it cuts it off in mid-word. I took Life Path out of there, but it occurred to me, the whole page is information and resources. So the
Yeah.
heading seems a little silly.
Yeah.
But I cannot access that. It's I don't know if it's called a root directory or what the lingo is. I do not have the permissions for editing to even change that. I would have to ask Gail.
Okay.
But I was going to suggest we call it other resources. But I wanted to just see if you had any ideas on that before I went ahead and did that.
Mhm.
That sounds great. It sounds great to me, because I think that the links of interest are important.
The links of oh, you mean that?
That you say check back soon for other links of
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, and in fact, someone emailed me, a friend, about the circuit breaker thing, and she'd been in touch with Ken, who told her about how this thing is on hold, but there was another program, which may have been some of the things that were being discussed earlier in this meeting. And the other thing is that we had talked about how the bylaws were, the bylaw needed to be updated, but as Linda and I discovered, things have changed and there's been at least one update. So right now I think it says, I changed to say original bylaw or something like that. But I was able to move stuff over to the right-hand column to free up a little more room. And then the big question, and maybe we're not there yet, is once we are officially part of this age
And dementia-friendly
project thing, we should say something about it somewhere, maybe at the top as, new, or we have exciting news or something, but whatever is going to have to explain this program, process, whatever we're calling it, or they're calling it, initiative, there's a good word. It's going to have to be very brief because of the space, but we could then make a link to a larger document, as we make a link right now to the how to be prepared in an emergency thing. So we could say more, but just not on the page itself, just tease about it and jump, or newspaper language, a link to another part of the website that gives a fuller description. So that's all I have to say at the moment.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
This is Gomberg. I can kick in with one very short suggestion. In the section on the foot clinic visits, right in the middle, and I'm looking at it on my phone, it says the COA suggests clients donate towards the visit's cost. Could we say that we ask that they contribute? Because we do ask.
We can only suggest.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yep.
That language
All right.
came from, I think, the newsletter thing that Linda wrote, and then she sent it to me way
Yeah.
back.
We have to, right, we can suggest.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just a legal
we-
point or something?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, that we can't require. we can't-
Suggested donation. We cannot say your cookies at the bake sale are $5 each. You can't say that.
Yeah.
For example.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm also wondering if this is Joanne, if we could put a link to the assessor's web page about the senior tax exemption, the state
Yeah,
tax.
yeah.
I was
exemption.
going to do that, but I ran out of time. So that's why it says it's under construction.
Mhm.
Because that is something that does exist, and we can put a link in there.
Yes.
But
yeah,
then the question becomes, and I'm taking up too much time on this, sorry. If it goes under other resources, then it's not town. I mean, if it's a town thing, should it go up above that section?
No, I don't think so. Other resource, another resource. Right? I mean,
Mhm.
yeah. That will be fine.
You and I talked about this, Linda, and I can't remember what we came up with, but
I think that's pretty much what we came up with, yes.
put the next thing in, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the website right now, so I don't even remember what
Yeah,
I put
Yeah,
there.
since I have the two screens, I can see it. And it does, it looks so much, it's so nice, and especially because you're able to put so much more on the right-hand side. Yeah, so if we're okay, Janice, we could move on.
Fine.
Yeah, Joanne gave us a grant update during our financial update, unless there's anything else, Joanne?
Nope.
Okay, the next item was council membership, and I was thinking if Tracy were here, you know, we could talk about membership, but she's not here, so I think we'll wait. I'd like to wait on that if everybody's okay till she's here and we can talk more with her about becoming a member.
Of what?
Of the council. She expressed interest in becoming a member.
Oh, she expressed interest. Oh,
Yes.
sure. Okay.
Yes, but since she only had just attended the special meeting with Nor,
Mhm.
she hasn't been to a regular meeting, and I'd like that, you know, like her to be able to come to a regular.
Right,
meeting.
right. Okay.
So we'll carry that over. And I put on COA email only because and I sent you an email about this, you know, was if you, a lot of miscellaneous things come in, people wanting, you know, do you want this program or that program kind of thing, which are not relevant to us because of where, you know, the size of our town and pandemic aside. But I do forward on anything that is of import to maybe you may be interested in. And I just the other day wrote that if you wanted to receive the MCOA briefs, that you could ask for those yourselves if you know want to get those on a regular basis. So that was all that is. And Joanne has an unanticipated item.
Right.
Yes, this was from, again, from the MCOA. There's a training for LGBTQ issues, and they are going to require it of all COA members.
The training?
The training.
Okay.
And they said it's about an hour long. You can do it individually or as a group. So by next March, I believe they want everyone to have done it and have been certified. So
So we're talking about a Zoom, a virtual presentation?
it's a one-on-one thing. I don't know. You go online and it may be like the,
Six.
what is the one we all have to do? The,
I have to do it. The one about
Conflict
ethics.
of interest.
ethics.
Oh, the ethics,
yeah,
yeah.
conflicts. It may be like that. I don't know. I'll do it as soon as I get there from here and let you know what it looks like.
Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, next meeting. Our next meeting would be on December 8th.
Oh, yeah.
However, I'm happy
We
to
have
tell you,
company then.
I'm happy to tell you that I won't be available on December 8th because Arthur and Paula are arriving on the 7th,
Yay.
which is huge, because we haven't seen each other for so long. So I know I won't, despite how much I enjoy being with all of you, that I won't, and Janice?
And also, I've got to get going. I started on the annual report and then I got waylaid by the website. So we have to get that
Yes.
looked at. And I'm planning to send that out before our next meeting, whenever it is.
Okay, so they're going to be here until the 15th, and if you could just hold on for 1 minute, I just have to see what time their flight out is I can be back for a meeting. I forgot. to-
Okay, well, I have cemetery commission on the 15th, so don't come,
Okay,
don't
all
worry
right.
about it.
You know what? I do that. That way I knew that was their conflict. Okay. So the question is, do you want to?
22nd is pretty close to the holidays.
You want to go before that, before the regular time? The
Go
week
on the
before?
first?
Yeah.
Go on the first?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly look at the town calendar to see if we can. Oop. I'm just waiting for it to load up. Okay, December 1st. Board of Health is at 7, so I can plug us in for the first, if everybody's good with that. Everybody?
Janice,
Gomberg, I am. Yep.
Yep, yes.
Thank you, everybody. So we'll meet on the 1st, and I'll plug it in right now so we
Okay.
get a spot. So if we're all good, we give Susan Millinger 7 minutes till her next
Right.
meeting.
Oh, thank you. I can actually get up and move around.
So if we have a motion to, if everybody's good, we'll adjourn, if that's okay, we're good? Thank you,
So
everybody.
moved.
Okay, second on that? I'll second it.
Second. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, I.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, I, and thank you, everybody, for a wonderful meeting,
Okay.
really.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So the time is 6:53.
Yes,
6:53.
yes,
Thank you.
thank you.